calls reaping, sowing a good.
Good afternoon, Life Off the Bench family. Uh, it's 7 o'clock somewhere. Say it with me. It's 7 o'clock somewhere. Hey, thank you guys, man, who all are gonna join us tonight, man. Season 4, episode 4. Um, I think this is a really great topic tonight, man. We might should have started the season with this topic that we're gonna be talking about tonight because it's a topic. It's a topic that's really that has a ton of it just has a ton of layers to this topic, and it's one where in which if it doesn't happen, you're either standing still, left standing still, or at a crossroads with life. In either segment of this topic tonight, um, be it personal, business, work, family, uh, if there's no great communication, then you're like your real life stuck on the edge. Like you're gonna you're gonna miss the boat somewhere. You're gonna you're gonna cry out, and then when it's all said and done, when it's all said and done, can I start? Can I start with the it's early? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it just anyway. Co-host ain't here to stop me, so I'm good for right now. Uh, if you don't have any communications, you're sitting on the itter alone. Oh, you do that anyway, huh? I hope y'all ain't bringing nobody in the bathroom with y'all. But that's what y'all understand what I'm trying to say. You got a whole lot of bull that's gonna come towards you if the breakdown that's called communication is broken. And joining us tonight, uh, two of my most favorite people in the world. The other 6 or 7 are coming, y'all. Don't worry about it. Y'all know they're gonna come. We're gonna at least have one or two more people on the panel tonight. Uh, and so, yeah. Please welcome Chadwick Wilson. Chad, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. What's going on?
Man, you got it, bro. You got it. Thank you for joining us on tonight. Chad is our resident educational expert. Uh, we also have Grayson Girl One. Ooh, I messed up, y'all. We also have Grayson Girl One joining us. Grayson Girl One, what's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Life off the bench fam. It's another Sunday evening. Happy to be here with you guys.
Right, just like that. We are ecstatic to be here. We hope that in this process of teaching that we're teaching in a manner that's simplistic enough for you to gain some type of knowledge and understanding of what we're trying to say. Because all of us are deeply, deeply spiritually grounded. I'm probably the lowest one on the totem pole. We believe in God. We believe in God's word. And he just says if you're teaching or trying to teach, you should break it down in simplest form so everyone can understand it and be helped by the message that you're trying to give. If not, yeah, you are probably pissing in the wind. and that's from a place of love. So when we think about tonight's topic, oh, I'm sorry, I went too fast there. Grace and Girl One, uh, Healing Hands Ministry, and I probably need to add that. I probably should have added it when I was doing the thing. Healing Hands Ministry is our sponsor for tonight's show, and we want to thank her for sponsoring tonight's show. Uh, Honored that she took the time to do the necessary requirements to be tonight's sponsor. Um, Thank you, Grace and Girl One. Tell us a little bit about Healing Hands Ministry, real quick.
Healing Hands Ministry is biblically and spiritually founded on the principles of God and the Word of the Bible. It is designed to meet those needs of the people, both mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, heal mind, body, and soul, um, just through love, care, support, understanding. Um, and being able to show the love the way God loved. The Bible says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And so through his word, I want to be able to show and express the same love that he gave for me to others.
All right, that's what's up, man. You also have a ministry where you marry people. Like if someone wants to get married and they don't have an official to marry them, you are an ordained minister. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
As he said, I am a licensed and ordained minister. I'm also a notary public, so I'm also able to notarize your documents. I do have a Facebook page and a website that I'm on for officiants. The website that I'm on is called fash.com, fash.com. You can reach me there, or you can go to Facebook, AG Weddings, on Facebook, and I will correspond to you and we will discuss the needs that you are looking for in an officiant. See if I meet those qualifications.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. One of the best gifts in life, I believe, is when two people meet, find each other, find love within themselves, and uh, make the decision that they want to share life together. And to do that the right way, you need a licensed, ordained minister or a licensed person to say "I do" with. So cool beans, man. Cool beans, Grayson Girl One. Um, the breakdown that's called communication, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's a multi-layered topic. What is it? A multi-layered topic. You must be able to communicate effectively. And again, when we talk about communication, we just aren't speaking from a place of a relationship. At work, you have to effectively communicate, or you'll be fired. And, uh, and with your children, you have to effectively communicate, or the convicts will be running the prison. Did I just call y'all children convicts? My bad. My bad. I meant it, but didn't meant it. My bad. I'm sorry. Where you at, co-host Ramian? You know I don't play well with others.
Somebody got to be in control of y'all.
Man, that was just wrong on all levels. I got kids that act like convicts. They don't know how to act. So when we look at this thing, man, let's start right here. Let's start on the business side of communication. We're gonna start with let's start with Grace and Girl One tonight. Um, you deal with people. You're in the people business because you're a customer service uh, agent for the people. You know, you work specifically for the people. How much does communication help make your job easier? Effective communication.
He said, I work for the people. That's true. I'm a public servant. That's my job, is to work for the people. 100% necessary and needed, because one, if they're expressing something to you and you don't understand what they're expressing, then the communication has failed. It's broken down. Two, if you're trying to explain something to them and they don't understand what you're communicating to them, the system has broken down. Communication is lacking. So you have to be able to have patience. You have to be able to talk, listen, and understand um, what the people are saying, what you're needing for them to understand, and be able to explain it in more than one ways, because everybody doesn't understand on the same level, and everybody doesn't receive, and communication is a system of receiving and sending. The authorities say that 90% of all communication, 90% of most communication is nonverbal. So even what you're not saying is a form of communication.
All right. Great, good to great stuff, man. You could have been better. You could have communicated that better in a better manner. It, that's the crazy part of how this communication thing works. Like you can you can communicate something crystal clear as day, but if the comprehension isn't there, did you really communicate something? Chad, you work for the people. You've been tasked with handling and development of kids' understanding and discipline. You are the in-school suspension presider. Means that you ascertain facts dealing with discipline and then dole out a punishment. How does effectively, not only effectively communicating with the kids that you have to come in contact with, but be able to get them to communicate effectively things and situations that have happened within your everyday life.
Believe it or not, well, before we even started on this topic, I just looked up the word communication. What is the definition of communication? And communication is the exchange of ideas, feelings, uh, and information. And so, like you said, I deal with young people, and I deal with their parents and other administrators, faculty, and staff. I think one of the most important aspects of communication is listening. I think it's probably the most paramount, because like April said, sometimes it's the things that they're saying, but also sometimes the things that they're not saying. Um, but you can see it in body language, you can see it in resistance, you can see it in and the apprehension of talking about different things. And if you pay attention to those things, if you actually actively listen, then you can ask those probing questions to get the information, that exchange of information that you need. So uh, my grandmother used to always say, uh, she would say, son, you got two ears and one mouth. That means you can listen twice as much as you talk. And so I think that's so very true. I listen a whole lot. Sometimes I think I listen to a little bit
Too
too
much.
much. But I listen to try to understand where everybody coming from, and then state the position, whatever the position that needs to be, brought to the forefront, and then we move from there.
Joining us now is Madame Piper. Hey, Pipes. What's up?
Hey, Hope. Hey, y'all.
It's life off the bitch. Watch your mouth. Effectively
What's that?
communicate with me. Effectively
Yes, sir.
communicate with me.
Yes, sir.
All right. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Deborah, please do not pump him up because, as he has previously stated, Anise is not here to rein him in,
Right. And
and I don't
I'll
know
let
if she
y'all
can rein
have
him
it.
in.
I will let
That's
y'all
your
have it.
job. That's your job, A. That's your job.
I'm like that. I'll let y'all have it. Y'all know I'm like that. So, Pipes, what's up, my G? How's your day,
Not
Pipes?
much.
Thank you for sending me that message of hope that you sent me. I
Glad you like it.
I appreciate that, my G.
Mhm.
How's your day?
So far, so good. Just left my mother. She's doing good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, Pipes, we talking
Yes.
about the breakdown that's called communication. Right now, we're in the work stage. You too also
Work for the people.
work for the people.
Woo! That says a lot about us.
Yeah.
Say, Pipes, you be like, you the best kind of customer service. Hey, can I where can I sign up for?
It's a whole lot of them that would disagree with that.
Hey, now you work for the was it called the Texas Department of Health and Human Services?
Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services, yes.
You know, you deal with people from a food variant or variable. What's the communication like for you guys? How do you get the most out of the people that come in for assistance with you guys?
Oh, wow. That's going to be kind of hard because um, a lot of people come in, the ones that really need it, um, they're open and they're honest, and they just tell you basically whatever you need to know. Those that are, make sure I say it right, hiding things. Say it right.
You want me to say it? I don't work for them no more. I can say it.
Let me say it. I'm gonna y'all know I'll step in front of the bullet for y'all. The ones that be lying and stealing. Them stealing
Those.
niggas.
Those are the ones that will come in, you call them, have every excuse in the book for why they cannot provide the information needed, but yet and still they want what you have. So it's basically really no communication with them. They want to hit it, quit it, and get it. Those that really need it, those that really need it, just say
You
those that
really go
really
to time out.
but I meant the food. You went the wrong way with that one.
You going to time out.
It's a good thing she's not the one that's putting the stamp of approval on it. Now she giving the workers the blues. The ones who she giving the ones that process the cases the blues.
That part right there.
I've
That
never
part right
heard
there.
you. I've been knowing you a good 13, 14 years now, Pipes. I ain't never heard your teeth and tongue utilize words like that. Hit it.
It came out. But see, that's the way you took it. That's the way you took it.
It
came out.
It doesn't matter
else.
what form you use that comment in. It's relatively bad.
Have you heard it before, A?
Yeah.
She's heard that and a whole lot more.
Both of y'all in timeout. 2 minutes.
Oh.
Go now.
He's having time, but we're time out, girl.
Looks like he in timeout.
That's what it looked like.
But you know, we joking. That was a lot of communication. There was a lot said that was in between the lines, under the lines, and over the lines.
Right.
And that's the point we want to make today, that communication comes in all forms. And
right.
Depending on what you hear is how you interpret it and how it can be interpreted differently. Deborah said one thing, Hope heard something else.
That's right.
No, I heard what she said.
But I meant something else.
Anyway,
She
my
called it.
mind. Anyway, my
Wait, wait, wait,
mind
wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
formatted
whoa,
that
whoa.
was bad.
Chad,
Did anybody else catch that the way he did?
Chad, can you help us out?
Well, so with all that being said, that's exactly how it happens, though. You know, how many times have we been engaged in a situation where what we said is not what we meant? You know, I could think of different
And that's how
instances
it was
where,
received.
where people explain something and they say something totally wrong and totally, you might know what they mean, but what they actually say, they're not precise in what they say, and it'd be taken way out in left field.
True.
I just need for y'all to keep that same energy, because later on in the show, I'm gonna hit y'all with a word that's gonna defy all logic,
Oh, okay.
and just keep that same energy. And
We
when
some
I punch
educated
y'all in the
people now.
gut,
It's hard to defy logic with us.
okay. And I'm gonna challenge you to keep that energy. I promise you, I am. Let's move a little bit further with this, because we could spend 45 minutes on work. It's a lot of craziness that happens. It's a lot of craziness that happens within life, at work, and when we process it, like Chad says, and Deborah said, and Grayson Girl once said, how we interpret it means everything. And so, as a parent, I work really hard to try to communicate better with my kids, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I came from an old school place. Um,
Uh-oh, here she is. Here she is. Uh-oh,
Girl,
here
you
she
just in
is.
time. You just in time. I thought, ooh, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. He hears my prayers.
I, I
Yeah.
I can't. Hey, co-host, I can't. Deborah,
Uh,
I'm about to mute you for real. If you keep it up,
I can do it. I can do it because she gonna take care of you.
And
You
so,
must be misbehaving.
absolutely, all the time.
And he made a PSA that he could misbehave because you wasn't here.
Out loud in
Ooh, she
America?
told on you.
Oh,
She
yeah.
told on you.
I'm so embarrassed, y'all. I'm so embarrassed.
She told on you.
Mr. Wilson.
Ma'am,
Really?
that's what he said, but you ain't here
Man,
Woo!
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Ethics, morals.
I hear you.
and
I hear you.
morals.
I hear you. Come on. Come on.
back to my point. I'm too outdone with y'all now. I don't know y'all anymore. I came from a place of growing up when, my mother, she taught once. She was gonna give you the instructions and directions that she wanted you to hear. And if you didn't understand it, she gave you an opportunity to say, I don't understand. But you can't wait till after she started fussing and said, Mama, I don't understand. Because now that extension cord coming for real. Because we had the type of mother that cared. She cared about us. We knew she cared about us. We knew she loved us. That was not a question. And so in today's cycle of kids, they don't want to know the question. They just want to know the answer. How do we effectively communicate with kids? And you got to hear this part now. You got to hear this part, because this is the part that really matters. How do you effectively communicate with your children or your child to get them to effectively communicate with you? Cole, you ready? You
Am I?
take you a break. Come on, Chad.
No, 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 no. I'm well. Are you feeling well?
I'm sick now. I'm really sick now. I think I have to leave the show again.
Hmm. You
I,
did that last week.
I was feeling miserable last week though.
Mm, you
So
should be
no, so y'all know I
miserable
deal.
tonight.
No, y'all know I deal with my sinuses, and I had a sinus headache along with stuffiness. That's miserable. But I'll
It
come on
it
next time
is.
I'm feeling like that and,
It
and
it
be
is.
hacking and coughing
It,
all over the show.
but it is. But you expect for us to press through, and we do all the time. You realize I work
That's why
365
that's
days
why I
a
got a crew.
year. But I work 365
Right.
days a year, and then I get texts like Batman, and I work 365 days a year.
Hey, I didn't call you Robin. I said you were Batman.
I know I'm Batman, but then you cringe at the very. So excuse us, everyone, because we're going to have it publicly. Because I'm not a shisty one that do this off camera to the side, so that where you do it is where you get it.
That's what Mama said. So everyone, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. I text my coach because she's not only my sister, she's my friend. She's like Grayson Girl One. They are my spiritual advisors. I call on them for a lot. Like I demand a lot from them. And so all I did was text her, and the text simply said Batman.
And what did I do?
She here. I need my like everybody got a Batman. I'm
Batman don't
Superman. She
hear, Batman
Batman.
see. When you
She
the
got,
symbol go up in the air and Batman sees it and he goes.
right. That's all it was. I love you, sis.
I
An
love you.
effective form of communication.
Right.
You know what, Chadwick? Chadwick.
Oh no,
Chad,
he owed me that one.
how
He
did
just
he
ratted
owe
me
you
out.
anything? No, he didn't rat you out. If you said that, then you need to own that.
You know I'm not good with that on here. I got 9 people versus one that
No,
always
no,
go
no.
against me.
What's going to continue is that we continue to talk, in that April and I are going to continue into in a space, in a place where we get to truth, and you start crying. That's when we gonna be good.
Oh.
That part.
That won't happen this show. Maybe next show, not this show.
April.
Well, it's okay. He say that now.
I can't stand y'all. Hey y'all, so we
So
have
the answer to your question, or how to address your question, because I'm going to keep moving right now, because I ain't got and no one got time to that. They didn't tune in for your foolishness. So when you continue to talk about how is it that we can communicate in the way that our children will communicate with us, is truth, honesty, and the fact that we listen. Listen,
okay.
listen. You have to listen to someone and give them your undivided attention. That goes for adults. Put the dang on phones down. Put down the dang on issues in your head with your significant others, your
Yeah.
You know I hate to interrupt you. That's the one thing that I just be definitely scared to do.
Mm.
But what happened in the midst of putting the phone down, in the midst of you saying put the phone down, what happens when the other party, be it the your child, your children, or I guess we can go and throw relationship in the mix now. What happens if they say I listen with my ears, not with the phone? Muting again.
you need to stay muted forever, because that doesn't require a smart behind comment, for the simple fact that each party realizes sincerity. When you bring real, you get real. Now, if you coming from a place of superficial, then you'll get responses like that. But when you bring real, then they'll realize that you're not playing no games. And I use all the ebonics I could find right there. Um, but if you bring in real, then they'll realize that there's no phone because you'll bring it with some ground rules. When you say we're coming to reach from a space and a place that's real, and anything that you say, it doesn't matter. Just bring it to the table. I'm listening and I'm present. That means no judgment, no condemnation, no, I'm going to bring this up later. I'm going to bring this outside. I'm going to keep bringing this up every time that I see you. You said, remember when you said, and like you do your partners. Oh, you told me such. No, you don't do that with your children. You give them a space and a place to be themselves. Now, whether or not you need to deal with it afterwards, then maybe you need to get you some professional help. But you need to give them a space and a place where they can be themselves. And maybe it is something that the two of you will need to take to a third party. And if it is, be open to that. It may need a family therapist or a medical doctor or issues like that that's beyond your scope of reference or even your scope of understanding that they're dealing with. Sometimes our children are going through areas of depression, anxiety, um, attention deficit, social anxiety, peer pressure that we as parents from an old school frame of thinking makes want to say suck it up, deal with it, and that's not the correct answer because it's not viable or applicable to what or applicable, I know the right word, to what it is they're handling right here right now. Even the way of learning in their grades in school, you have to give them something they can use. They're being pressure is being applied to them to come join the gang and put in and chip in their allowance to make a master key to steal some cars and say, oh, don't you join your gang because I said so. What they gonna tell they homies? My mama said I couldn't. Yeah, they can, but what is that gonna do for that behind whooping they finna receive? That may not necessarily be applicable. So what do you do? So listen, pass the hat. Hober talking.
My bad. In this process of understanding and how to increase your children to be able to communicate effectively, uh, Chad, what do you tell Cassidy, Jace, or Marche in this process of trying to get them to understand how to communicate better?
I think one of the things that I find with young people uh, is they don't speak in a lot of details. They leave a lot of stuff out. So I think for us as adults, we need to ask those probing questions too. So whenever they leave this part out, because they get frustrated because you don't understand, but we don't understand sometimes because there's some parts that's left out. So we really just got to keep our ears open. We have to really pay attention to what they're saying, how they're saying it, and then the things that we don't quite understand, we need to ask them questions as well.
That's right.
Because there's many things that, when my kids come to me and talk to me about different things, I'm like, wait, hold up, stop. I don't understand this. So, and then I restate some of the things that they're talking about. And they be like, no, 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 see, and then they fill in the blanks. It lets them know that I'm paying attention to what they're saying and vice versa. So I think too, we have to ask questions as well. We need to ask questions so we could better understand, like Anise say, what they're going through, what's the circumstances surrounding it, what's the implications that they believe will happen as a result. um, because sometimes the implications that come with making a certain decision, we have no knowledge of. We don't know all of the other factors that go into play because they don't explain it in great detail. I heard, I think I read another statistic that says something like when people listen to others, they only hear the first few words and the last few words. So what happens?
Right.
What happens to all the stuff in the middle? So we really need to do a really good job of listening. Like you said, undivided attention. Uh, Funny thing, like my wife gets upset with me sometimes when I'm watching TV and she comes to talk to me. I'll hit mute on the not mute. I hit pause on my show and I stop and I listen to every word, and then I'll respond, and then she'll stop talking, and I'll hit the pause, unpause, and she said, "Well, I'm not finished," but I do that because I want to give her my undivided attention at the time in which she's speaking to me. So I think we really need to listen very, very well.
No doubt, man. Great stuff. You're a parent that has been heavy-handed, Deborah, and you see the error of your words.
Yeah.
You want to rekindle a trust in the communication process with your child to let them know that, hey, I've been wrong. I've wronged you, and I want to make this up for us to have a better relationship. Where does that start?
It starts within. You have to be honest with yourself, and that when you're talking to your child, you have to let them know, okay, I messed up. I'm not perfect. But what I'm trying to do with you is I'm trying to help you get to that next level. And as long as you're following them, case in point, I'm gonna be a little transparent right here. I got 2 grandsons right now that are turning to me. One's 17, one's 19. They both say the same thing. We are not the same as you all were back in the day. We're not like Uncle was back in the day. We are different. Y'all don't understand us. Y'all don't hear us. And so while they're telling me this, I'm saying, but you've told me this before, but you didn't hear me. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is what they're telling, what gets where the communication gap is, the words that they use, they feel like we don't know. They feel like we don't know what they're saying. I know what it means when they say that I did what I had to do. When I say, but I did what I had to do to make sure you all were okay. I fed you. Yes. You had clothes. Yes. You had shoes. Yes. You had a place to live. Yes. So what is it that you had to do that I wasn't doing? You already had everything. So what else is there for me to get? So I guess that the kids, what they're saying now is, and with me, it would be a little hard to really, it's kind of hard now to talk to them. And my thing is, I've said it before, I told them anybody that was born between 1995 and 1995 and 2006, they are pretty much going to, they're going to cause more problems. I don't want to say, to them, I say extinct. They're going to become extinct, but they're not, because they're killing each other off. I just had this conversation 2 nights ago as well. So basically what I was told by the 19-year-olds, it doesn't matter what you all say, I just know what you did. So I guess the key is we have to be honest. You know, like you all say, to thine own self be true. We can't tell them to do one thing and we haven't done it. We can't tell them to do something and our parents would told us to do the same thing and we didn't do it. And so our parents are saying, hold up. Because I asked my mama, said, I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish you would. And so the problem is, again, we as parents, in order for me to open the line, have a good line of communication open with mine, you have to be honest. I have one that heard all that honesty, saw that honesty, saw that hard work. I got one that felt like I wasn't honest because I wasn't saying what he wanted me to say. And then I have another who says, you know, mama, you were right. You were right. I feel it now. I feel it now. So we have to be honest. No matter what we do, no matter where we go, if we are not honest, if these kids can look at us and say, you fake, you're not being right, then we've lost it right there. That's my opinion. We've lost them. If we're not honest, we've lost them.
Man, you put me in a predicament just now, Pipes. You put me in a predicament now. I'm just gonna be honest about the whole situation. So, Grayson Girl 1, from the perspective that Pipes just gave us, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the word, it says each generation, and I'm not calling nobody child wicked, but it does say that they will be wiser.
And they are.
Than we are. And for the most part, I reckon they are. We all need some days under our belts to get in tune with who we were as young folk. And we need a few more days to become the people or the persons that we were created to be. Sometimes that takes days. But under this process right here, what I heard Piper say was that her grandson, the 19-year-old, basically tried to hustle her into thinking the way he wanted her to think. Because again, I don't agree with that. And so, under the theological version of, I hate saying this, wickeder but wiser, help us out on how we put that into context to young children, Grace and Girl 1.
It really starts from the time they come out of out of their mother's womb. We have to start speaking life into them and teaching them proper conversations. I don't even know. And the scripture says another word. He doesn't want to say wicked. It says a little more perverse. And not necessarily is that always bad. And they are wiser than us because we ain't had no computers in the 70s. And if you had one, your parents had a little piece of money. You would read now the Encyclopedia Britannica and the little science books. I forget what the name of them was. You was doing good if you were able to go to the library and get on computers. So they have a lot more technology available to them at their fingertips, which is what makes them a little more wiser. They're not afraid of that technology either. And in the same breath, that's the thing that makes them a lot more perverse because they got access to a little too much. And so we have to start, like, we get your little button there and sit down somewhere. Ain't nobody talking to you. Stay out of grown folks' business. We knew that don't be in nobody's mouth and they ain't talking to you. You knew what to do to get out the way. Nowadays, they're allowed to sit up under the adults, hear the adult conversations, take part in the adult conversations. And so all of this is a part of communication, and we're telling them, allowing them to hear, see, and do things that maybe they shouldn't even be privy to or have a grasp to be able to take hold of.
Or
Um,
they become our friends.
yeah, they become our friends. My kids, especially my girls, they tell me that, Mom, you remember when you told me I'm not one of your little friends? I said, right, you're not one of my little friends. And now they think because they've become adults and they're semi on their own that they are my friends now. You still not one of my little friends because my friends are not little anymore; they're old. Um, and most of them, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, they think like me, they act like me, they process like me. And there's another difference in us and that generation. We don't process the same. And so I'm not saying that we have to be receptive to all the things that they're issuing out, but we do have to listen, like Anise said, and we have to listen effectively to be able to even hear what they're saying, to be able to help them, to be able to teach them how to communicate, how to talk. Um, my oldest, she always has been very proper. And so she went to an inner city school when we were stationed in New Orleans, and the little kids used to pick on her because they used to say, "Oh, you think you better than us because you talk so proper." She would come home crying every day, and I'm like, "What are you crying for?" She said, "Because they keep making fun of me." Well, what are they making fun of you about? They said, I don't talk like them. I said, "You don't talk like them. For one, you were raised in a different environment. If those of you that don't know the city of New Orleans or have never been stationed there, the base was right down the street from one of the well-known projects, the Desire Project. So this
Fish.
is who, yeah, Fisher Projects. This is who the kids are interacting with, and so they know life differently from her. She knows life from a military background, military perspective, and most of the kids that she's went to school with lived on base. And so they had the same teaching, the same upbringing. They got strict, firm discipline. Most of these kids get to run roughshod and do whatever they want to do. And so for her to, I can't read lips, so you good. I don't know about everybody else. Oh, so for her to go in their environment, they thought, "Oh, you think you better than us?" No, it wasn't anything about being better than anybody else either. It's about being able to understand, because communication is conversation. And my granddad used to say, conversation rules the nation. So, whatever room you go into, you need to be able to effectively communicate. I don't care if you live on the other side of the tracks or you live in the gated fence. Whoever you're talking to, you need to be able to present yourself to them, listen, respond, and as well as talk and not be afraid. And so, this generation, for them to prove that they're not afraid, they say a lot and they don't say nothing.
Talking loud, saying nothing.
Saying nothing. And you want us to take that and run with it because we do things differently.
That would be you, host.
That would be you, co-host.
Oh, isn't that something? I was going to jump in there because I felt your spirit, man, a little bit over there. There were a couple of things I saw where you were attempting to segue a question into there about the bonds of trust. So I'm going to segue it from a different perspective because your voice has so much bass in it, and that's something else I want to talk about too, about the methods in which,
No, what you
since we're
say,
talking
but
about
how you say it.
communication,
Ooh.
it's the sometimes as we as male and females, we are unable to receive different messages based upon the messenger. A woman can say A B C D E F G. A man can come in and say,
A
I,
B C D E F G.
you don't even have to, you don't even, and it's true, you laugh, but
But
very
that's
well
true.
do the
It's
same thing.
true.
And that message is gone. And before you get to G, I'm all the way to Z going, is that what you meant? And it's just that simple. And in that, it sometimes make the communication a lot more effective. And that's how sometimes in our society you see men presenting things more often not necessarily more effectively, but more often, just because of how the reception of their communication is. Come on, somebody. That'll preach for itself. Go on, girl. Go on, girl. Go on, girl. And then you have women that are presenting in communication to different based upon what the topic of the communication is. Now, I'm not trying to take your topic and trying to move from it, but I want to speak about the within the confines of trust, which is where you were going. You telling me as a man to trust you to our children, but you hurt me, you disciplined me, and you got a little bit rough and a little bit jiggy with it. Now, as a man, I may not trust you so much more, daddy. Who you think you is, especially if I'm a male. My testosterone is rising. I'm starting to get some of that bass in there, and my testosterone is bumping against yours. So I might not be feeling you like that per se. But as your daughter, I may lean into it just based upon the genetic and the physiological way of being. So your trust may be able to win more. You may be able to win that more. So, whereas as the mother, I may be able to, I might want to take this toe to toe because now my estrogen is leaning into her. So as that parent, which is where you were about to ask that question, I'm gonna ask Chad. I'm gonna start with the man because I'm a woman. How you like that? So Chad, how do you win back your trust with your male first? When you see his chest leaning and puffing because you physically disciplined him. Understanding that precept.
Right. So I think too, it's about communication is sending a message, and is the message received? Because I can say sometimes when my son, when I speak to him, he's not trying to receive the message. I'll give you a great example. We had a basketball game, and he was playing, and I was instructing him on what he should and shouldn't do. And the first thing that he said was the excuse why he didn't do whatever it is that he was supposed to do or whatever, instead of receiving the information. Because one of the things I tell the kids at school too, like every correction is not necessarily every correction is not condemnation or is not comes with a penalty. But automatically, a lot of our kids feel like correction is condemnation or comes with a penalty. And so that's their reaction. So I know one of the things that I do always, one, I try not to put him on Front Street. And then and as it relates to the basketball game, I bring him close. And then I say, hey, look, just listen. This, that, and that other. Now perform. And then afterwards, it brings him down, and he understands I'm not trying to put him on Front Street, and then he performs, and then he goes about doing, whatever it is that you ask him to do. So, getting back to the question, like, if I need him to hear me, and I need to hear him, because he may not feel that way, but I'm listening to what he's saying, but he didn't do what he was asked to do.
But you heard him as an excuse. Yeah, I can't be anybody but me, so I got to jump in there. First thing you said is, I met with an excuse when he doesn't do what I need him to do. Well, hell, I don't want to do what you say do. I want to stick.
But that's not it. You know why? That's not it? Because at the end of the day, he wants to be successful. That's what he wants. He wants to experience success in whatever, let's say in that moment. But what he didn't realize is his performance, his action put him in a place where he couldn't experience that success. So I'm giving him, I'm giving him instructions in the moment.
But are you giving him the critical thinking skills in order for him to do it for himself?
Well, if he would listen, he would
No, no, no,
understand.
no, no. You're giving him your plan and not the critical thinking skills where he
No,
may
I'm giving him
experience.
the plan, because it. Well, also with that, we had a game plan from the beginning. So we're talking about executing a game plan for success. And somehow, some way, during the course of it all, he lost focus of that. So this is a readjustment. Like I said, all instruction or all correction doesn't come with a penalty. The penalty was not having success, and he wasn't being condemned for that. But I'm trying to realign you with the goal and the objective of that moment. So
Okay, but that's not what you said. That's not how it just came
That
out.
is what he said. That's
That is not.
exactly.
You know what?
Anise,
He
you
used
Anise,
analogy.
you didn't
It was
receive
funny.
that. That's what I was just about to tell you. You didn't receive that because that was coming from a coach's
No, what he
perception.
what
But that, as a
listen,
father,
listen,
that's
I
what
know.
he said.
No,
That's
wait
what
a
he
minute. Wait
said,
a
though.
minute. Job, can I? God dog. Can I finish? Can
No,
I
no,
finish?
no.
No,
Mine
let me
wasn't.
finish.
I'm
Let
on
me
your side, Anise. I heard what you heard.
no, listen to what I said. I heard him and fully explain it from a coach's perspective, but I also heard him say he gave me an excuse. So, would you, if you're giving him a realignment, then you're not listening for what he has to say, period. You're just simply saying, hey, there needs to be a shift. You're not why are you labeling what you're receiving, period?
no,
Why
Lord.
did you
it
find
was
it
it was
necessary? Why did you find it necessary to label what it was he was
because
doing?
it was. He was giving me a reason why he didn't do the assignment as instructed. And so what I did, like I said, I brought him close. And I said, hey, you need to do it this way, because when you did it your way, this is what happened.
So, in other words, listen, and then listen. Now, see, because I'll tell you after we finish with this one. So, in other words, the overall game plan that you went into the game from, he strayed from the game plan, and then you came in and said, "Look, based upon my observations, here's a tweak to get you back where you wanted to be for you to go off." Bam, got it.
Yeah.
No problem. I heard him the whole time, y'all. Whew, Jesus. Coach
I
Chad, you're
swear.
the likable
Ooh,
guy.
Jesus.
Lord, and it's not blasphemous. You're the likable guy on the show. Yeah.
Jesus.
So I'm clear. Thank you very much for that. And so you
yeah.
got to press back. Wait a minute, Hobart. Let me finish.
Yeah, because
So
I got some
what
statements.
you gonna wait a minute.
Wait.
So the other part of that too is, as a mom coach who is all into that, I totally got it. Look, ain't nobody got time for that. You just didn't do it, so this is what needs to happen. Bam, I'm not gonna front you off, but here you go, boom. And so yeah, hey, bam, go get them. And
Right.
had children, sports, the whole nine. So I totally saw you, but I was trying not to get all excitable and interject myself into your answer and take it over. Y'all didn't know I had them powers, did you? That's why I'm Batman. No, 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 Batman. No, no. And so, Hobart, you can't take over my question with a one answer. So I get two. Go, April.
Ooh,
The trust.
um, trust is really a important factor in communication, because really, if there's no trust, I'm not really talking to you. I'm saying some stuff, but I'm not saying anything. And I'm just giving you enough to really leave me alone, get out of my face, because I don't trust you. And so when there is trust in there, there is a relationship that, even if I don't understand what you're saying, because I trust you, I'm going to carry out the assignment anyway. When I don't trust you and I get there and this is a little questionable here. I know he said to do this, but I ain't fit to do that because I don't trust that. And so trust is very valuable, and it's important for us as parents to gain that trust from our children, because I can't remember who was saying it earlier, but like if they go into a situation and they are dealing with gang members as opposed to doing the right thing, when they trust what the parent has instilled into them, it don't matter what setting they're in, what stigmatism is going. You can call me whatever you want to call me. I'm not doing that, because the trust and the relationship that I've built with my parents means that one thing I always told my kids was, you can tell me anything. I may not like it, but you can tell me anything and we're going to deal with it accordingly. It's not going to be, I'm going to kill you, or why you do that. We're going to figure out how to get to the next phase, or what we need to do to get to the next step. And so when that type of trust has been built, communication doors are always going to be open because they feel like they can talk to you. And
One quick thing, like, also with trust, I think it has to do with competence too, and not, I know I gave the sports analogy, but even with everyday life situations too, you're more likely to trust someone if they are willing to be competent, or they are competent in what you're speaking about. So like Anise spoke about the game. We may not know about the game if we're not even willing to listen, what all goes into navigating that and become competent in it all. Then that's going to be the distrust. Like, he ain't trying to hear what I'm saying, and so I don't trust nothing that they're saying anyway. They're not competent in how I'm supposed to navigate these different waters. They're not even trying to figure out something that will coincide with what I have going on. So I'm not going to trust them anyway. And I have a lot of that going on whenever I listen to students talk about different things that's going on in their life and within school. If I don't sit back and listen and try to become competent in the things that they're talking about and understand what they're going through, then they don't want to talk to me. But we have to be competent.
And another thing is, you talk about the competency and trust, and not to take over your answer, April, but just to add into this conversation, is another thing is that they can depend on us to be there. That's the other piece of this. And so as we just sort of flesh and massage that whole piece with the gang out, real talk, when mine was that age of recruitment, right? So we're talking fourth, fifth grade, right? You had a boss talking about this one that would go out there and say, "Y'all see this one right here? Y'all see this one right here? This one right here? This one right here is mine. Y'all want him to come in? Y'all got to jump me too." And they looked.
Real talk.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. So Chad, it's all on you. So that's what you get for playing with the controls. So
Right.
Hobart,
Right.
but you gave it to Chad though. But you gave it to Chad.
I gave it to Chad for one show.
But you gave it to Chad.
And I gave it to you. What happened to yours?
No. That's not how you gave it to me to sign in. Oh, did you give it to me to sign in that way? You did.
Yeah.
But you see, I'm not back here playing. So he
Well,
embarrassed now.
Chad just lost his privileges there.
But he back there playing. But that's all right. But that's
No,
okay.
he has it because he uses the software for something too.
I know.
But I'm glad y'all are done. Chad, get yourself back on here and stop acting embarrassed. I'm glad y'all are done. Now I can come in, man, because it's just so much that I heard that doesn't sit well with me. And I'm not saying that you guys are wrong in your assessments, because a lot of it was super truthful. The part that always bothers me is that we're going away from, every day more and more, we're going away from the things that made us great. And our parents parents, 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 parents believed in the holistic, no ma'am, believed in the holistic point of the word of spare the rod, spoil the child.
Who said we were going away from?
I didn't interrupt this time. I didn't interrupt this time.
See that right there? Said co-host has his privileges.
All right, but give me a second.
Who said? But who said we were going away from it? No, because
No,
we
are.
I'm going down your rabbit hole. Who said we were? No one on this panel said we were going away from discipline.
The world said it. The world said it.
But you got us representation on this panel because we're like minds.
The world said it. That's all I'm saying. The world has said it.
Give me a statistic.
Like we okay again, and y'all know that I'm straight up real. Y'all know I'm straight up real spill.
What communities are you referring to? Because if you're referring to our communities, we still are physically disciplining our children.
So, and I don't think I kind of agree with you, but I don't 100% agree with you, because not everyone in the world has moved away from spare the rod, spoil the child. It's just a certain population of the people, and that part right there. The Bible says that my people perish for a lack of knowledge, and so when you know that discipline is a part of communication and effectively communicating with your children, then you don't take that part out of rearing them or teaching them how to effectively communicate. Because I got several whoopings and did get several whoopings all in the same breath, because I ain't believe in taking no whooping.
That all wouldn't happen. And
that mean I was running, y'all.
And see, Hobart, I did too. I hit a many of tables on the spot, and she said, "Okay, don't worry, I'm still gonna be right here." So Hobart, but when you say that, you can't make a sweeping brushstroke like that.
It's done all the time. It's done all the time. And can I finish my thoughts?
Sure.
We might, because they might be bleeding.
Can I finish? So it's overwhelmingly clear to me that the discipline aspect in life, we overall aren't disciplining our children. Crime is up. I'm gonna reiterate that. Crime is up. Violent crimes are up. Kids, and Chad can verify this one from me, kids come to go to school every day with no fear of being disciplined, because the lady at the Black Caucus said it best. The superintendents at the school are scared of the parents. The teachers are scared of the superintendent or the principal, and everybody in the school system scared but the child, because he know he's able, and even if it's not true, he can pick up the phone and say XYZ abused me, and before anything is proven, the person whom they say have abused them is already convicted without the child having a slice of proof. So in this process, we can say what we want, but these kids aren't afraid to lie. They aren't afraid to cheat. They aren't afraid. Some of them. They aren't afraid to skip school or skip class at school. And God forgive me, my daughter told me this about 2 weeks ago, that kids got caught in the bathroom at school doing things they weren't supposed to be doing at all.
Well, you talking about
just not
having sex?
Huh?
Smoking weed or having sex?
The latter.
Having sex?
That one.
That's old as, but see, nothing is new under the sun, Hobart.
Right, and we know that, but you know the part that's not new? Because guess what? If Annie Ruth Grayson said, wash them dishes before you go to sleep tonight, she wasn't coming to remind us to wash no dishes. She was gonna let you go to sleep, and every night at 2, 3 in the morning when she woke up, every single night,
Hit your button, dip it. Yep,
and
I had that.
and those dishes weren't washed, your asterisk was gonna be tore up. Period.
Yep.
And
Over
one
here
of the
too.
nights she didn't wait till I got in the bathroom, so I couldn't get away and was in the bathtub, and I got that extension cord. And at no time was it called child abuse. It was called disciplining your child. My mama and Mr. Charles Johnson, God rest his soul, used to party at the American Legion Hall together. He had her phone number at work. She had his phone number at work. And if Anna Ruth got a call and had to leave St. Francis, my behind was the grass. She was the lawnmower, and she trimmed my butt.
So, Quinn, I ask
Parents
you a
get
question.
called at school now. It's what my child did.
Can I
Well,
ask you a
sir,
question?
your child only slapped somebody. Oh, not my child. They ain't my child. Communicate with your child better. That
So
touching
do you
somebody
think,
else is not good.
Mr.
Communicate with
Host,
your child better. That lying is not good. Lying on someone else is good. Because of
But we teach them how to lie when we model that behavior. Tell them I'm not here. Tell them I'm not here. Oh, I'm not going to answer that call. That's a lie. We model that behavior all the time. Oh, I got a large. I only paid for a medium. That's a lie. We teach them how to model that. We model that behavior all the time.
and do you think discipline is gonna 100% teach them effective communication?
discipline is not for today.
I ain't at you that.
All the discipline you received that it changed your behavior instantly, or it just grew you up, and now as a man you learn to appreciate it. Because
So
in
watch
your
this right here.
you did not.
You're a sociologist. Gracie,
No, I'm not.
Psychology, sociology, same thing to me. Both of y'all are.
Not the
Both
same.
Shut up, Chad. Shut up, Chad. Shut up, Grayson Girl One. Don't do that.
He gonna say shut up. That was real proper.
That
How about
Piper, your degree is in psychology too. Don't let him do that.
You going too far. You going too far.
Piper, I muted you
Yeah.
once, didn't I?
You going too far.
Didn't I mute
Go
you
ahead.
once?
Go mute
Going
her.
too far.
Mute her. Mute
No,
her. I got a mouse.
For real though. No,
Hold on. But you didn't hear that. You mute me, she got you.
Mute him. I got a mouse.
So watch this right here though, real spill. By the time you're 12, 13, the rules say that you're probably pretty much who you're gonna be. So you can't wait to 13 and 14 to want to try to discipline the child, because again, all that's part of communication.
So you missed the first part of what I said, that everything starts, you started choking, so maybe you did miss that. When the mother first spits that child out of her womb,
Yes,
we start teaching them behaviors.
You said that. You said that. And we model that behavior for
And so kids, you know what we tell kids? Do as I say, not as I do. But they
That
watch
part.
and they watch from the background. And so,
That's it.
and what they say is, I can't wait till I get grown because I'm gonna do just what my daddy did. I'm gonna do just what my mama did.
Right.
and is this or is this not modeling behavior? I'm not here. You keep keying on the phone and da 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 and woo 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 wop bang bop.
No, Anise.
That's
Give them the phone and answer the phone. Say, tell them I'm not at home. My mama says she's not at home.
That's a lie.
No.
But you might not have done that, but you've done something else reckless and careless and not realize that you taught your child how to do it. Yes, you did.
Only thing that I can
We have all done something.
Guess what? You got to come to session, and I'll send you the bill.
So watch this right here. The only thing that I'm publicly willing to say that I've done.
Publicly willing to say.
Chad,
Yeah,
you hear?
it's the truth though. Is that I come from a long line of cussers on both sides of my family. My tongue has no filter. And I probably said one or two adjectives than adverbs.
One or two.
Okay.
So stop right there. Stop right there. So now Courtney, how old is Courtney?
14.
So Courtney said, that motherfucker. And you said,
Don't say that shit in front of me. Say it behind my back.
okay,
That's
but
exactly
said,
what he's saying too, for real.
But she said, my bad, Dad. So
I'm still gonna bust in her chest.
but why?
I already told you. I already asked you don't curse in
but
front
it
of
was
me.
an accident. Accident.
No, Axamai.
Yes, it does.
Axamai.
It's part of your name. You can't say Hobart Grayson without saying I'm Hobart Grayson.
It's MFing.
Well,
But look, the old coach used to say, "What you permit is what you promote." So if you live by that, you know, then that's what it is. You know, if you allow it to happen without correction, it's gonna go on.
And biblically, the Bible says you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Right.
All right, this portion of the show is dead. How about
you
that?
don't want to hear no more.
No, it's not that I don't want to hear no more. It's just time to move on. It's just time to
What
move
you
on.
think about David? Oh, let me not ask Miss April. What you think, Froggy? That ain't her name.
Miss Peggy.
Miss Peggy. What you think, Miss Peggy?
Miss Peggy say he full of it.
Full of it. You know, Miss Peggy. I told you Miss Peggy was part of the panel.
Miss Peggy say you full of it. She
Miss
said you
Peggy.
see her looking at you with her eyes.
Miss Peggy is stuffed to the gills with it. Miss Peggy is stuffed to the gills with his fracking.
Not my G the Frog, huh?
Yes.
She's stuffed to the gills with your fracking.
Bull.
You know, I really need to. I have a friend.
In time out.
She's not in time out. Let my friend.
Come on, Deborah.
I have a friend, okay?
Can I say
he disciplined his children. He disciplined his children 100%. But his lifestyle, the way he lived, they heard more. They paid more attention to what he was doing than what he was saying. What he was doing has led him to have 4 boys in prison. They didn't hear what he was saying. They saw what he was doing. He was disciplined. He was giving them plenty of discipline. Plenty of discipline. Plenty of it.
There you go.
But no matter how many of us said, it's what you're doing. You got to change what you're doing. You got to clean up you. They don't hear that. They see you.
That's right.
And that's exactly what they did. They saw it.
You know what? All I ever did was put my kids on drugs. I drug them to school. I drug them to church. I drug them to work. I drug them to school. I drug them to church. I drug them to work. And you know, it's so funny. I was listening to my one number. I had to put them in numbers. Number 2 and number 5. They were on FaceTime till about 3 this morning. And I had to put them down, right? And they was like, it wasn't mama, because all mama made us do was recite Bible verses and tell us this. She prepared us how to work hard. She gave us work ethic. That's what she did. Now, mind you, I'm sitting at a glass desk looking at one laid prostrate on the floor, FaceTiming the other one. So I can see them and hear them talk about me. That's all she did. She look at her now. She even up now working while we sitting here on the phone and mama did and I said, are y'all preparing for the eulogy or what? Because y'all sitting here talking about me. What the problem is? No. We never got time to play while we was either preparing for a speech, Black History fact. Who is this person in Black history? Know your heritage. I feel like we could have went on that show every day. Who is famous in the Bibles? Yeah, right. That part y'all laughing about. That part y'all laughing about.
Nah, I feel like they must have been talking to my kids.
My kids Sunday to Sunday. My kids said we was in church Sunday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I can tell you 66 books in the Bible. My kids.
29, 36, 29, 37, 20,
That's
27,
it. That's
38.
it.
A man don't work, don't eat. I
Yep.
feel like you didn't prepare me for marriage. You wanted me to have my stuff together myself. And if he came along, he happened. Oh, you didn't prepare me to have nobody to take care of me. Yeah, I learned your life in parts. Yeah. I said, what are y'all doing on this phone this morning? What are y'all talking about? See, and then my son talked about. Let me tell you about the leader that I am. I'm the kind of leader that had to navigate. Oh, what y'all talking about? See, Mama taught you that you got to be good to people when you communicate with people and you understand the needs of people. Now, this is your communication. When you understand the needs of people, that part, the needs of people, then you're better able to hear them. And when you hear them, then you can lead them. Then you have to be a good follower, and that goes for when you're in relationship.
Mhm.
All right, y'all. I was a bit antagonistic on the children segment on purpose, because we have to get every side of the triangle, or we have to make an acute or an obtuse or a right angle sometimes. And the only way you can get that version is seeing it from every angle of life. And we want our kids to be better. We want our children to be greater than the sum of us. I don't know any people who has parents. I mean, of any parents who has kids that have told their children, go steal, go drink, go get drunk, go sell drugs. Like they have the perfect rationale for why they are who they are with their kids, and that's solely because they want them better and to be better than they were, uh, and that's the life goal of a parent. Let's move forward, man. I know some of y'all are gonna love this part of the part or segment of the show. Relationships, man. How do we communicate from a standpoint of anger? How do we communicate from a standpoint of love? How do we communicate when the love is being beat right out of us? How do we respond to communication when the love is being beaten right out of us? Man, those are some hard feelings and emotions to have to communicate with, have to communicate through. But again, you just finished getting the crap beat out of you for no reason, and you want me to have words? What? I hate you. Leave and don't ever come back. Can, pause. I mean, mute me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can I tell them to go to hell? Like, how am I supposed to feel? Let's talk about communicating from all these emotions and feelings. Deborah, let's let you take the first one. Communicating from a place of love in a relationship.
You have to really know the person that you are in the relationship with. Now here's the thing. Here's wait, let's back up. You can know one side of a person. You can know who you think you know who that person is. Really think you know who that person is. But everybody's got more than one side. And some people may want you to know that good side. That good side. But once they get you, into a relationship or a certain position, then that other side is going to come out. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. It's you learn how to trust that person for who they showed you. The person that you saw, the person that you got to know. But if you never read between the lines, they're going to slip up somewhere along the way. You can't just put all your trust in a person. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But it comes along in due time.
Chad, what's up, Chad? Man. You meet a young lady, and she says, I just don't want to date another man who can't communicate well. He gets on my dang blame nerve with all that freaking foolishness. If he don't communicate well, I'm just done. But she isn't the one that truly communicates. She wants you to do all the communicating so she doesn't have to say a word, so you can't find out whom she is. How do you handle a situation like that?
I don't know, because
how's my girl? How's my girl voice? It's not a good one, huh?
No. How could you be with someone who requires that you speak to them all the time with no responses? Like, is that truly communication? Like unilateral communication?
It may not even be a fact that she's not communicating in return, but she wants you to start or be the conversation starter every time. Like, she has nothing of value or substance to bring to the communication forefront.
Well, is that somebody you want to be with?
We ain't asking if that's somebody you want to be with. You don't know this yet. And so you're in a place, in a space in time where, again, you've just met someone, or you've rekindled something with someone that you may previously had a situation. What an entanglement. You rekindle something with someone
Entanglement.
you may have had an entanglement with, and no, y'all can't have August Al, whatever his name is. No, he's not going to be the dude that this dude may be Kermit the Frog or something. That you're having the entanglement with. But in any way, she's supposedly evolved as a person, and somebody told her on what's that is? Real Housewives of Georgetown. That communication is the new thing. It's trending. It's flashy. It's even a beautiful thing. But again, every conversation that started, she wants you to be the leader in that. Like, how do you?
I don't know if I could be in that situation. I don't know if I could be in that situation because that person doesn't have very much substance. So it's probably something that I wouldn't want to be, a person I wouldn't want to be involved with, where I have to start every conversation about everything. I just don't think that we would be compatible in that sense. So with that hypothetical, for me, and is that healthy? Is that a healthy situation to be in, where you have one person who always initiates every conversation, where you have one person who has dominion over the content of what we're going to talk about? I just don't see that going very far or being very healthy. Maybe it might work for somebody else. I can't see it happen. Unless
girl,
a type of hype. You know,
Grayson girl.
Chad can't even communicate on that because he can't.
We can't fathom it.
He couldn't even get his words out to express himself on how he feel about that.
hey. So Grayson girl one, you talk about it from a place of dysfunctional abuse, and Sister Pooh, I gotta ask you to take the harder one. From a place of abuse, and then your mate wants to be intimate.
Oh, that's for me.
No, the first part was for you. The second part was for Co. Got it? You so Grayson girl one, you're talking about communication after abuse. Co-host, you're talking about communicating about intimacy after abuse, because both of those are real things.
I'm gonna have to touch just a little bit on the niece's part, but not a whole lot, only because this was a real life spectrum for me. Um, being in a abusive marriage, and I told y'all that my ministry is Healing Hands Ministry, and its basis is healing the mind, body, and soul. So I can only be 100 with y'all. When I'm a loving person by nature, that's me. That's who I am. If you ask anybody that knows me, they will tell you she loves everybody. It's kind of hard for me to hate anybody, but in those moments of abuse, um, 1 Corinthians 13 didn't mean nothing to April. That's 100% honesty. And 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it does not brag, it's not arrogant, it's not rude. It insists on um, being basically good. That's my version of that scripture. Um, and so, in those instances where the trust had been broken and now it's distrust, I kind of found it hard to love you. But my go-to was always what the word of God says, because it's like somebody be tapping me and they be saying, April, that's not who I am. Because I told y'all in the beginning, I want to love people like God loves us. And God loves us unconditionally. And so it's hard to love someone and they're abusive to you. They are mean to you. They're unkind to you. They've taken your trust and pretty much thrown it in the trash can because you don't act how they want you to act. You don't talk how they want you to talk. You don't do what they want you to do. You say, April, how can you love who seems to be unlovable? Because in the midst of all that, it really ain't no communication. It's a lot of talking, but there's no communication. Um, you saying what you say, I say what I say. Don't talk to me, you don't talk to me. No, I said shut up, talk to me. So it's a lot of talking going on, but there's no effective communication. That's the word I need to use. And so uh, each person has to learn how to deal and cope with that in their own way from a different standpoint. My go-to thing is always the Bible, the word of God. I got some people that I will call and they know my heart's cry. They know my secrets. Even when I was going through that and I was saying, but I still love him. And they were like, I understand. And so you got to have somebody that you can also rely on. See, if I had called Life off the bench, he would have been like, you crazy girl. And I'm fixing to come beat you and him. But if I call Piper, Piper understands that sensitive side of me and the need to be loved. And so um, she talks to me from a standpoint of a sister that I understand we've already been all have been in some place, form, or fashion like this, but you need to look at this side, sis. Maybe you need to walk away and come back. And so when you got the right people in your circle, You can love from a distance, and you can love in spite of. No, I don't like or love what you did, but I love you with the love of God, because that's what he commands me to do. And so those are different types of love. And when you learn those perspectives, you learn how to deal with the mistrust that someone has dealt you from their, and that all comes from their version of not knowing how to trust, how to communicate properly, how to love properly. Because everybody thinks they know how to love until they can't love, or till love doesn't work. Tina Turner said it best: what's love got to do with it? Mr. Ingram said, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And so, in my scope of living in this relationship where neither one of us could effectively communicate with each other, because I go from one extreme to the other. I try to be calm and patient, biblically speaking, and I shut down. And then and then I go to the other part, the April before she got saved and learned the love of Christ. Because now you're just pushing my buttons. And so we have to learn that level playing field. The football field, it ain't zigzag. It's a straight line from point A to point B. And the goal is to get from one end to the other. In the marriage, the goal is to be able to walk that straight line and keep it going, even when nobody else can see it. And when you don't know how to effectively communicate with each other, those lines are skewed. So I won't go into Anissa's portion. I'm gonna pass the baton.
So, Hobart, if I hear you and I understand you correctly, what you're talking about is intimate partner violence, where you want me to be sexually intimate with you after you're on mute.
You're on mute.
He knows that. I need you not to be silly and to be serious about this so I can make sure that I have clarity in the question.
So if did you finish your part?
Yes.
Did you start your part, Cole?
I'm
She's
asking
trying to get
clarity.
clarity on to make sure she understands what you want her to
You're speaking
respond
of
to.
sexual intimacy, correct?
Yeah, that's a part of that's a part of communication, right? So you're a counselor, you're a licensed, certified counselor. You talk to eons of people in your conversations, and I'm not telling you to give anything out that you discuss with a
Never would.
certain individual, but haven't you had a woman who's been through abuse before, and
Never would share that with you, but
and she
I can
stayed
to
and
I
she stayed, and at
never
some
would
point,
say that to that, but I could speak to intimate partner
right?
violence.
And again, I'm not asking you. I'm asking you, what do you what will you tell that person in communicating effectively how to divulge to your mate that right now I'm not interested in having sex with you because you just beat the shit out of me. And that feeling may not go for away in a day. It may not go away in a week. It may not go away in a month because it may take 6 months for my bruises to heal. Is that a better? Is that more defined or refined in what I'm looking for?
Okay, so what you're speaking about is intimate partner violence and abuse or aggression, which is in romantic relationships. The intimate partner or the spouse or dating partners um, commits severe physical violence. It could be physical violence, sexual violence, stalking violence, psychological aggression, right?
Right.
Okay,
Any one of those
absolutely.
mannerisms or
And it could be one episode or it could be long lasting chronic and severe episodes.
right, because
Okay.
we know
So they
abusers don't abuse one time. They abuse every opportunity they get. and they don't. The wind can. I've seen abusers where the wind was blowing, and the wind crossed their face in the wrong manner, and they beat their women.
Right.
So
So,
just help us out with that portion of it, please.
okay. So physical
Mucho
violence is,
gracias.
you're quite welcome. So physical violence is when a person hurts or tries to hurt their partner by kicking them or using any other type of physical force. That's basically um, just physical violence. Any type of physical violence, be it they're using their hands or any other type of anything for weaponry. Sexual violence is the forcing or attempting to force their partner to take part of any sexual act, touching or non physical sexual event like sexting, or even when their partner does or does not consent. That's considered physical violence. Stalking, a pattern of repeated or unwanted attention. Um, Coming in contact with them with their fear that's causing fear or concern for them. That's stalking for their safety or someone even close to the victim. If they're stalking someone else that's close to them, that's stalking. And then the psychological aggression, the use of verbal or nonverbal communication with the intent to harm the partner mentally or emotionally in the effort to exert control. It's all about control. So IPV, which is known as international intimate partner violence, is connected to other forms of violence and related to serious health issues, right? So it can be prevented. And there's surveillance, there's definitions, and it's common. It affects millions and millions and millions of women, and not only women, but people, because there's a lot of different combinations of intimate partner violent relationships, if you will, in the United States and globally, period, all over the place. Let me see. I was going to try to look up the statistics for you, but just know that any type of unwanted physical, psychological, sexual, um, stalking, um, violence committed towards you um, is intimate partner violence. And that is not communication. That is not healthy. And you can seek assistance for that. 988 Um, tell someone, communicate that with someone other than yourself. Someone can get you some assistance. Um, I say that to say that I would get a neutral party and neutral assistance to someone who would be familiar with helping you with that. The other piece to know that you're um, want to be careful in the verbiage that I use here. Um, the perpetrator, um, you know, there's a lot of feelings or emotions that when it comes to that person is um, if they do it once, there's the likelihood that it will be repeated. Just know that. Um, am I here to tell you, you know, no, yes, whatever the case may be? I have my personal feelings. My personal feelings are if it happens once, it will be likely to happen again. Is it an exertion of control? Absolutely.
And it's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
just physical, it's also verbal. And
Yes.
most times it starts out as verbal.
The psychological aggression, which is the psychological aggression, emotional abuse. Know your self worth, know your self value, know what you can and cannot do. You have the power to walk away, even when you think you don't have the strength, even when you think that you're the least, the lost, the left out, and the last. You can make it. You can walk away from the situation. And if you are in um, a space and a place where it may be, say, you may be in a situation where you guys are. you're feeling that it's a sexual encounter, leave, walk away. If you feel that you've just hit a space and a place where it has been a sexual violation, call 911.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. I tell you, both sides of that coin was flipped quite well. And when something is well done, you don't need to deal with it anymore. I think that we handled the relationship communication way better than we did the communicating with our kids. But both are necessary. Can I say this? Evils, because we again
Necessary situations, issues,
got you, Cole. Necessary situations, issues,
and circumstances.
and circumstances. See, I'm working on my lighter tone of voice so that it's not depicted in the wrong manner. It's not taken in a manner where someone can say, well, you were just verbally abusive to me. No, I'm not. I'm a man. I have a voice. My voice matters. And I shouldn't have to soften myself for you to feel comfortable with yourself.
Well, you can be assertive without being aggressive,
No,
Hobart.
I'm not aggressive. I'm the most non-aggressive. It's on. I'm only aggressive on the hoop court.
Well, see, so what happens is you have to also learn that there's a cultural aspect into way people
Don't
approach.
what is that?
Uh,
Don't colonize me. Don't generalize me.
you
Don't.
want the truth, or you want an answer?
Hell no. You know I'm always about that truth. I swallow.
So if you want
I trump on that
truth,
truth.
if you trump on the truth, then you have to face the reality. And the reality is that the America in which you live in see you
Oh yeah.
as a black man first. And
Keep
so
that
because
energy because I'm about to kill y'all in this closing. Hey, y'all, that's why I love y'all, man. Y'all bring that gifted
why would
truth
he
out.
kill us?
I'm not gonna literally kill you, but the context and
And
the
I got up
look,
now.
let me put my Martin Luther King Jr. voice on. The context of the character of my content and the content of my character is gonna just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Is that the content that all black people, brown people, white people, Asian people will all live together in harmony? That content?
Well,
Hell
I
yeah.
need hell yeah.
That's why America is called a melting pot, baby.
Well, but I do need you to know that that's real. And if and another part of that too is realizing that our children see that, feel that, know that, and they've been told that. And so that's another part of communication, that their appearance, their stature, their presence is already a part of the communication that the world sees of them. And they've been told that that's 15 strikes against them before they even make it to the starting block. They've been told that, programmed to believe that. So because of that, sometimes they don't even put in the effort to open their mouths and say anything intelligible or audible. Not only our children, but us as a people. Now there are so many more that do. And so because of that, we have to be the ones that start the conversations in spaces and places that advocate and are agents of change for that. And then when you speak about mental illness, and I know you got that mentally mental boy, I may not make it the next Sunday because I might not be on this planet, but just in case I want to speak my truth right now. So we have to advocate on the spaces and places of depression and anxiety and declare, see what I'm saying? Yeah, we have to declare and decree right now the things that hold us in the past and the things that drag us into the future are not important to our right here, right now, and live in the present. We so busy tripping and flipping and tripping on where we been and skipping and bumping our heads on where we trying to get to that we miss the right here, right now. So how can our children are like Olivia, lost and turned out because they don't know where they're going because we don't know where we are. All right, I got more to say, but I'm trying to hold my mule.
All right, Shirley, I got you. I got you. I got you. I like that. You know that's one of my favorite songs, right? Hold My Mule.
Hold my
And I
mule.
don't know
You see these
why.
80 acres. You see these 80 acres you just came up on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't do that. I'm not you really don't stop playing on my top, bro. For real. Stop trying to play
You,
on my top, bro.
you see it. You see all this land you came through, and ain't none of my children been to jail. Ain't none of them. Ain't none of them.
Hey, you know something? You know
Right,
something we
right.
didn't
Never.
hit on, like code switching.
Hey,
Like,
stop that, Chad. We're here.
And that is important. Code switch is important because guess what? When I go into and I need this whole panel to touch and agree that he is King of King. Because see, ain't nobody watching our show right for this moment. But see, that's all right. That's ain't where we're gonna be all day. But I need this whole panel to touch and agree that when I go into my oral defense, because I get approved to make it to my oral defense. Come on, somebody. That
Amen.
I would be able to code switch right now and be able to go. The presentation is the reason why things are like they are is because it's necessary that we as people of black and brown bodies run to the church for our solace and our solitude to the clergy, to the pastors. It's because that has been our place of refuge. And so if we can go to the church and get the help that we need for our mental health, then where are we going to go? And trust and believe that they are be able to not only provide us with what we need or at least get us to the resources. Okay, what's going on, Chad?
I,
When God
hey,
said,
here
"Let
we
there
go.
be light," you ain't played the light
Hey,
bill.
hey,
What happened?
hey, guys. Man, I thought
Chad went dark. Chad went black. Chad went.
I'm not
Chad.
here.
Chad good.
No, he had a
Hey,
a light.
next week, on Life Off the Bench, we will be discussing and y'all know y'all need to be on this one right here.
Nope.
Cause I'm not talking about to the panel. We need the panel on here that's supposed to be on here next week. But y'all know in the black community, we struggle with seeing our elders, our loved ones, go from being big, strong men and women with sharp minds, sharp wits, sharp tongues, and they get up in age a few days, and then they go to breaking down.
Well, you know where we get the context of being strong from? From off the cotton field. We got the notion of having to be strong and strapping from off the auction block. Why isn't we just can't be who we are? Our black and brown bodies need to be just who we are and what we represent. Why
Well,
can't we just
let's
be that?
create a show about that. All right, we'll figure out how to incorporate
You know
that
what?
into a
We're gonna
show.
incorporate that into next week's show. We're not gonna make no shows and stretch this season out. Tell them, April.
No, we're not. We don't have to do that. We can just. I'll call you later.
My name
But
is Anish.
again, so when we look at this process of the breakdown that's called communication, the one I wrote a few notes down that again at work, at play, your children, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband.
Your
It
wife.
has to be a
Your
place
wife.
of it has to be a place of trust and not mistrust or distrust. Um, I think Chad made a really good point about this. We can't use excuses not to communicate, to not communicate. You have to be through any phase or space. And I was horrible at this when I was married. I was not a good communicator when I was married. I was horrible at it. And so those of us that don't want to repeat the same trauma again, we figure out ways to be better at it and get better at it.
You said commit the same what?
Mistakes,
No, you said trauma, didn't you?
yes.
No, you don't commit trauma, you create trauma.
Commit, create,
No,
again.
there's a difference. There's a difference.
Okay, well, create trauma
Thank you.
by not communicating or not communicating enough. Either way,
Or
it's an issue
effectively.
to me. We must be better. And watch this right here. This is where he has the double barrel shotgun and he clicks both barrels. We have to start looking at the intent of the person communicating. If this person has loved us without fail, without beating our hind parts, without violating our trust, then one day we just can't wake up and say, well, he don't love me because he ain't talked to me today. Who he talking to? Who she talking to? She ain't talking to me. What man she talking to? What woman she talking to? What my child doing? He can't talk to me all day.
It has to do with next week's show. Sometimes there's a breakdown, and we're not talking about just the senility or Alzheimer's or dementia, but sometimes there's a mental breakdown. Sometimes there's some self-worth, self-love that's taking place. So you when you address this topic next week, you have to take that into account.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hey, so
Does that make sense to anyone else?
Huh?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Hey, I love you guys, man.
Without a doubt.
Listen. Y'all hear it? It's something that's saying, to thine own self be true. Did y'all hear it? Wait, go, Anise. Go.
To thine own self be true. You be the light. You are the light. You be the light. Shine the light. Chad, I was just saying, don't put that up there, that little old picture there.
Hey, we are real people talking about real life issues, trying to help give real life solutions. Join the conversation.
I think he's doing that intentionally.
Join the conversation. Hey, listen, don't be afraid to join the conversation.
What are you doing, Homer?
That's not me. Also, y'all ready? Chad, stop that. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
Get into the game.
Thank you guys for joining us for tonight's show. Until next week, remember,
Get off the bench.
Get off the bench and get into the game.
and look, it's at the bottom of the screen. We're going to be talking about your loved ones. Be here.
Talking about us.
Great job, everyone.
Nano.